The second winning series is a unique sports program that probes into the often controversial world of professional and amateur sports. Sports View Today.
Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Sports View. I'm Ron Cameron.
And I'm Bob Page. Our sponsors in the program, as always, Al Dietrich Oldsmobile. Where the runway ends, the deals begin. Uncle Al is in his one-year-old location, new location, on M59 just east of the Pontiac Airport in Waterford. We've also got Fred Wetzel and the folks at T-Com Pagers with their wide state beeper coverage wherever you're watching this program in southeast Michigan. Maxie's Main Street, the place to be in the northern suburbs in the middle of beautiful downtown Royal Oak. Yes, you're chomping at the bit, I can tell. The new issue, Sports Fans Journal, is out, ladies and gentlemen.
Issue number 17, if you would like to
lift it up a little bit. You can see right there. You see, isn't this nice what Larry Peldino did for me? Titan Trauma. My story's plugged on the front page. I mean, you denigrate my contribution to this magazine. In point of fact, I make it. I make it.
Good God. That's the only down point of the magazine. We got some good writers. We'll tell you about those later on. And if you want to subscribe, dial this number 24 hours a day for more information, 350-3530.
We also have Ron Cameron's favorite eatery, Dino's Pizza. He loves it because he can buy one pizza and get the second one free. And believe me, he's been known to stuff them both down in one sitting.
Two great pizzas, one low price, and free delivery.
We also have Pass, the Pro-Am Sports Systems. We have Amantea, one of Ronnie's sponsors. Where are they, in Westland or Garden City?
It's in Garden City on the corner of West Warren and Vinoy with liquor with the meal, and it's a great stop for fine Italian and American cuisine.
And we have Larry Payne and the folks at Dugan's Irish Pub, right on Woodward, not in beautiful downtown Royal Oak, but north of 13 Mile. Take a bite out of nostalgia at Dugan's Irish Pub.
Well, on nostalgia, you there or what?
Our guest in the program today, a still young man that I have said publicly on this program, and I have said on your radio program, in fact, during one of my all too frequent guest appearances there, that I think is probably...
You begged me to come on. What do I do if I don't have everybody else on? He drives me to the thing, said, can I please come on? I said, all right.
Yeah, that'll be the day. That'll be the day for all your 6 listeners. Anyway, the young man that I have said I think is probably the best guy. He's still a young man. The best guy doing television sports in Detroit right now, Fred McLeod, sports director at Channel 2, WJBK TV. Best guy in a weak market, I think, also. And we'll talk about that a little bit too. The state
like being the most valuable player for the New Jersey Nets.
That's like when people stop me and say, you know, the 2 guys in that TV show, you're the best guy on the show. Big deal. What does that tell you? I'm against Ron Cameron.
The only people who say that are the drunks.
Anyway,
Fred
McLeod is here and doing so many things. The Pistons on Pass, and of course he's involved with the Lions, the pregame show, the Darryl Rogers show.
That's his problem.
I don't know where to start with Fred. Let's start with the Lions.
We have about 30 seconds left because of all your
Yes, absolutely. Now we're out of time, and let's go to the commercial break.
See you next week.
On the main part of the show, the Lions. All right, Ronnie, should I ask it or should you?
All
right,
here we go.
Is there any hope? Is there any hope for the Lions as long as the incompetent Mr. Thomas and the incompetent Mr. Ford are in charge?
I'll tell you what, I would have said probably no up a couple of weeks ago, but I really think Jerry Venisi now is the key man in the organization. He is going to basically run player development, the draft, trades, player procurement. No, and I talked to Jerry at length.
I know that, but I'm glad you mentioned that, because this is the PR release that I have right here.
And Chuck Schmidt is in effect going to be negotiating contracts. Russ will still be involved.
Notice your use of terminology, that Venisi is basically going to, that Chuck Schmidt will pretty much be, I mean, what's the deal here? Chuck Schmidt, they're going to say he's going to become more active in contract negotiations. Russ Thomas is still there. Jerry Venisi is going to become more active in player personnel.
Well, there's no way Bill Ford is going to clean and broom out Russ Thomas. He retires in 2 years. I think this is a way that they can get Russ to very nicely retire without slapping him on the hand.
But aren't you setting the stage right here for a massive political struggle, infighting?
If Russ was 55 years old, yes. But the fact that he's very close to retirement, no.
And he's going to relinquish his power and just say, Chuck, you handle the contract. Oh, Jerry, you handle player procurement.
Oh, he'll still be involved, but I think the point is that it seems to me that the owner of this club, who is still the ultimate boss, has said this is the way it's going to be.
And let's not forget that Russ Thomas brought in Vinisi.
True.
So
I would.
He had to see the handwriting on the wall.
But I just,
general manager of a team that wins the Super Bowl in the Chicago.
I wonder if this system can work. And to get back to my question, Bill Ford still remains the owner. Can they win with this guy as owner?
There's a feeling that that the Lions don't pay, don't go out and get the talent. But see, that's kind of a misnomer because, as you know, in pro football, you can't go out and buy free agents. It's a joke. There is no free agent system. And I think sometimes, maybe a coach would want a player here, player B, player C, and maybe Russ has said, no, I don't think we can do this. I don't think we should do this.
Yeah.
I don't think it's so much Russ.
Well, is Russ Thomas the reason this team isn't winning?
I think he's a big part of it, sure.
I know what you're saying about free agents. What you mean, though, are the baseball type free agents.
Let's get away from that.
The big money free agents. What I'm talking about here, Fred, is the free agents on the waiver wire who've been cut. Maybe you could pick up for a couple $100,000.
Oh, they've blown that.
They sure have.
All right, now back to what
I don't think that's Bill Ford saying, okay, I only want you to spend X number of dollars. I think that's more Russ.
You really do?
Yeah.
So you think the problems that he's caused, I don't get on Russ Thomas necessarily for being the businessman, because hey, if I owned a team, I'd want him there too.
Billy Sims said that.
Yeah.
Remember?
And that's so I'd want him there. What I get on Russ Thomas is we're doing like you say, the waiver list, getting people that are available, not being aggressive about this team stinks. Let's go do something about it.
Yeah.
That's where I criticize.
Jerry Vinisi very strongly believes in young free agents. So let's say, for example, if Pat Shurmur is not drafted, which hopefully he will, they will aggressively go after people like Pat.
What about a Paul Jokic? The Lions
Who's
are not
sitting in Clarkston, right?
sitting. Well, now Paul Jokic is hurt, but there's no doubt if Paul Jokic is healthy, he's much better than any tight end the Lions have right now. Much better.
You would think so.
Yeah.
But is he big enough to play tight end? Is he bulky enough?
He's 240.
I mean, he's 240 and he's 6'7".
240, yeah.
And he's strong.
But why is any other club picking him up?
Because he was hurt and cut by two teams.
He got a pulled groin.
He was cut by two teams because he was hurt.
He should have. He should never played a senior year with Michigan because of that pulled groin.
But there are a zillion guys out there
like that. Yeah. Now Russ
not
Thomas,
6'7.5", 6'8".
Russ Thomas is notorious for attempting to intervene, shall we say, with media workings in this town. Now you just come out.
He got
the
you
season.
fired.
Yes, he tried to. When I was
He
at
did. He got
WJR
you fired.
years
Don't
ago.
say he tried to.
He may
did.
have done that.
He got you fired?
When I was at WJR years ago.
He went on the air and called Russ Thomas a name.
I went on the air, but let's get off this. I want to ask Fred, doing the Darryl Rogers
I just want to tell Fred what happened if he doesn't know.
If he has been given any directives, has Russ Thomas ever contacted you? Has he ever said you were too negative? Why did you ask that question?
A couple times Russ has made comments, like, I don't know if you recall, a year and a half ago, we did a story with Eric Hipple, a music video, showing of all the pounding the man has taken. And what it in effect was showing how resilient he is, how tough he is, which he is. Let's face it. Whether or not you agree, Eric Hipple is a Super Bowl quarterback. He's a tough man.
He's a gamer, is right.
So we put this together with the idea of showing how tough he is. And Russ, a couple days later, said, "Hey, how could you show that? How could you, embarrass the man like that?" So he's had a few comments like that, but he's not going to tell me or the producers specifically how to run the show.
Well, back to what we were saying. You cut me off before. I'm going to say it now anyway. He went on the air several years ago at WJR, and mentioned the Lions will never win with Russ Thomas here and call Russ Thomas a name. Now, Russ Thomas called up, not a derogatory name, but just a name that he's incompetent. So Russ Thomas called the station. He said, "You get this young." Well, I'll
tell you what he said. He said, "You get this little," and he used a word that it's a slang term.
You were young, so it had to be little.
It's a slang term that applies to a particular portion of the male anatomy. You get this little fill in the blank off the air or whatever. Yeah, kneecap. That's exactly what it was. And so this is water.
Or we'll pull our accounts. And WJR being as weak as they are.
This has never been discussed before in the show.
He brings it up all the time, and I'm sick of it, frankly. Fred, what was it like working with Darryl Rogers this year as the embarrassment mounted week after week, and you had to sit there and you had to ask him what happened now?
Easier than Monty Clark.
Oh, I bet.
And I like Monty, personally. Darryl, it became very tough because how many ways can you talk about a losing streak? How many ways can you ask a man about what can you do to keep your players up? I thought he did a very good job in keeping an even emotional keel and not getting too down.
Did you notice that there are people saying that Darryl Rogers really doesn't care if he coaches his team?
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. You know, I think he's got a lot of personal pride in what he does.
Did you notice a difference in Darryl Rogers after it was announced to be back next year?
No. Not a major difference, no. Because he's kept an even keel.
Absolutely.
He really has.
All right, we got two more topics. We're going to talk about sportscasting in Detroit and the Pistons. You, of course, do the Pistons games in the past. But before we get to a break, the Lions' upcoming draft choice. Should they trade it? Should they use the selection? What should they do?
I'd like to see him traded, but what I'm concerned about is other teams are also smart enough to know that this is not a franchise-type draft. And so, you know, everybody's saying, well, trade for one of the Rams picks. Well, if they don't necessarily feel that they can get a better player at number 2 than they can where they are, they're not going to trade it.
Well, my feeling on the draft is if it would trade it, because if you can get somebody in Los Angeles that might not start there, I think Los Angeles is a good team despite the record this year, and come over here and play for this team and their pick, go ahead and do it.
If you can do it.
Well, I think you can do it because the Rams might feel that number 2 pick. Well, this guy can step in and help us.
If they use the pick, who should they take?
I would take Sharp of South Carolina, because I think Tim Brown will go number 1.
Well, I disagree with that. I think I'd take Keith Jackson. The Lions haven't had a tight end since David Hill.
I thought he looked bad in the ball game.
I'll tell you what,
ran a couple bad routes and dropped a couple balls.
They're extremely dangerous with the number 2 pick.
Well, they don't grow on trees, though.
But this kid is not the end-all.
Yeah.
Tony Hunter, Ken McAfee, look at all these
Tony Hunter was a wideout at Notre Dame. They tried to convert into a tight end.
Yeah, but everybody felt his future was tight end.
Well, we'll see. Whatever they do, Frederick, I have great confidence it will be the wrong decision. And we'll continue with Fred McLeod of Channel 2 and Pass.
He got you fired. He did something.
What's the problem, lady? Where's your husband?
I don't need this.
You don't. Let Uncle Al's Army come through for you.
Yes, ma'am. No problem. Coffee?
Uncle Al's highly trained Army attacks general and major repairs on your private vehicle in a personal way. Thanks.
No, thank you.
Uncle Al, crushing the competition and high-cost service with the respect you deserve.
L. Dietrich, Oldsmobile, GMC truck in Waterford.
The most exquisite, authentic, delicious Italian food ever. The Amantea has a complete variety of Italian and American cuisine. Homemade lasagna, mostaccioli, spaghetti, and veal parmesan. Fantastic American favorites, too, such as steak, ribs, chops, poultry, and seafood. After dinner, have a refreshing drink and an Italian dessert. At Amantea's, only the freshest ingredients are used in all their entrees, homemade soups, pastas, and sauces. So experience the best in Italian and American cuisine at a very reasonable price. Amantea, a place you can be proud to bring your friends, family, and business associates.
I'm sorry, she's out of the office for the day and there's no way to contact her.
With a pager from TCOM, you could contact her anytime.
I know it's an emergency, but it's out of the building now. May I call you later?
With Motorola pagers from TCOM, you can deal with emergencies now.
I'm sorry, our delivery man is on call right now. We won't be able to help you till tomorrow.
Hi, my name is Fred Wetzel with TCOM Paging. If these problems seem familiar to you, then you need a TCOM pager. You'd be surprised how affordable they are. Probably wonder how you've done without one. Give us a call at 559-6826.
If you're a sports fan, you should subscribe to this paper, Sports Fans Journal. Our monthly columnists include Ernie Harwell, George Kell, Denny McLean, Pass's own Jim Northup, Dick Vitale, Don Cherry, George Allen, Bob Feller, Eli Zaret, Bill Frieder, Governor Blanchard, and many more. Just $15 a year. Sports Fans Journal is also available at local newsstands and bookstores. For more information, call 350-3530. Sports Fans Journal, a must for all sports fans.
And we're back on Sports View today with our guest, Channel 2 Sports Director Fred McLeod, who also does the Pistons games for Pass. This is a ball club that I have predicted will win the NBA championship this year. All things being equal, if they avoid injuries, so on and so forth. Mr. Cameron disagrees. Your feelings?
They're right there. Atlanta scares me a little bit right now. Kevin Willis has been out, and what do? They reel off, 5 wins in a row. I still think in a playoff situation, the Pistons are superior at guard, and that would,
And the experience from last year coming so close.
That's going to be a big factor.
It reminds me of the Tigers in '67, where they came so close and they learned what had to be done. And this year, maybe they'll be over the top.
And Dantley, what a steal! I mean, we all had heard the comments about him, how he was a malcontent and would be disruptive.
Well, you wonder even here, though, the fact is the Isaiah Thomas situation on the Larry Bird thing, and I could see some uneasiness, even maybe in Adrian Dantley coming on the show saying that this Isaiah's team and all that stuff. My my comeback to that you say they're going to win the championship. When's the last time an NBA team has won a championship when the best player is 6'1"?
Well, but they've got supporting cast.
They do have a supporting cast.
Seriously, as much as we've all wondered whether or not Bill Laimbeer is good enough to lead this team to a championship, how many better centers in the NBA are there?
Well, you wonder about that, but the fact is, still the Pistons have never played in a championship series. They've never won a division title, and their best player is 6'1". And some people believe that Isaiah's ego will not allow anybody to upstage him in this town.
I think that's ridiculous.
Well, I don't know. A lot of people are saying that.
What do you think?
This is Isaiah's team, and if you don't believe it, ask him.
I think he wants to win so bad. I mean, look how he came back from the ankle injury.
Oh,
most guys
gutty.
Would say, hey, you know,
sure.
3-4 days.
So you're saying he's a player to lead this team?
He's the heart and soul of the team. But Dantley is such a disciplined human being in terms of work ethic. He's been such a great example on the road to these guys that he's the consummate professional.
I've said
They've
this.
got a good chemistry right now.
Fred, I've said this a lot, and I think there's a lot of dumbbells in the NBA, and I think Adrian Dantley proved it coming on the show, saying straight out.
Wait a minute. Adrian Dantley proved he was a dumbbell by coming on this show?
That's what I thought he was saying.
Yes, that's true.
You don't let me finish.
The teacher will get a hold of you.
You know, Adrian Dantley, I asked a question of Adrian when he was on the show. I said, you're 6'4", you're not the quickest guy in the league, even though you do have a good first step, and you're not the great leaper, yet you're one of the best premier players in the NBA. And he said, well, despite the fact that there's great athletes in the NBA, basically they're dumb. And that's why I do well.
Maybe court sense. You know, William Bedford's a good example of that.
Oh, he's not anything upstairs. I don't.
I'm not saying he's dumb. I'm saying that he
basketball-wise
came into professional basketball with not a lot of great court sense, and he's trying to be taught.
And there's so many of them in this league been here 9-10 years that haven't got any court sense.
Yeah, because they don't want.
Daryl Dawkins, for example.
Yeah, the recent trade, the Sampson deal. Everybody seems to think that's strengthened Houston since they've gotten Sleepy Floyd.
I'm not a big Ralph Sampson fan.
What about Joe Barry Carroll? He's a bigger sleepwalker than Ralph.
Well, he's played well for him
But
so
you
far.
get Sleepy Floyd. They've desperately needed a point guard, and they're starting to come together now.
Now, who worries you in the West then? Houston or the Lakers more? Lakers won 10 straight
Lakers
as we
still.
tape this show.
Lakers still.
You expect to see the Pistons play the Lakers in the NBA Championship Series?
Yeah.
And you expect the Pistons to win?
Because I'll tell you what, the Lakers will have home court advantage, and there's no way, in my mind, that they're going to be beaten in a championship Western Conference Series at home.
The Celtics win last year if they don't have the injuries.
Do you expect the Lakers to win the NBA Championship, beat Detroit in the NBA Finals?
Yeah, I would expect that. But then, you know, look how long it's been since we've had back-to-back.
All right.
Watch those Celtics, guys.
I think if anybody can match up, though, right now in the game today with L.A., it is Detroit.
You guys have been criticized doing the games on pass. Your color commentator is a high-ranking employee of the
Vice
Detroit
president
Pistons.
of the club.
Tom Wilson, your comment.
When he first, was appointed to do color, I had my concerns, because I've heard it around various markets where people from the club will be a shill. But Tom, I give him a lot of credit. He went the other way. In fact, if anything, when he first started, he was very, very critical, and some of the players were upset. And so now he's tried to be careful in how he, criticizes players.
And Al Ackerman has been a vocal critic of you, saying that there's no way a legitimate sportscaster with a network affiliate should be in the employ of the teams.
But see, first of all, I'm not employed by the team.
But if the Pistons didn't like you, you wouldn't be employed at all on pass. They'd say, get rid of Fred McLeod, you'd be gone.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
so
I had an incident like that myself.
The implication is that you're not going to go on WJBK when you do the news at 6 and 11 and report anything negative about the Pistons.
What about Kelly Tripucka a couple of years ago when he had the bum ankle, and I went on the air and said he should be in there playing, that he's hurting the rest of the team? No, I mean, it's what it has done, and there are countless examples. Frank Beckman doing the Lions. I mean, there are countless examples all over the country of guys who do radio or television, then also do play-by-play. It gives you a better insight to the club.
And we'll have some insight into the Detroit sportscasting situation when we continue with Channel 2's Fred McLeod right after this timeout.
In just 2.5 years, Dugan's Irish Pub has become one of the hottest spots on the North Woodward Strip. Come on inside and I'll tell you why. You start out with a famous Big Chief burger, an institution in Royal Oak since 1954. Dugan's has the cheapest drinks in Metro Detroit. Specials every night, not to mention the best looking waitresses serving those drinks. We've got oldies on the jukebox all the time in a great casual atmosphere to meet your friends. So come on out to Dugan's on Woodward, just north of 13 Mile, and have a bite of nostalgia.
Al Dietrich Oldsmobile has moved to a new location, M59, just east of the Pontiac Airport. A new location, but the same great service you've come to expect from Uncle Al, and the same super deals on beautiful new 88 Oldsmobiles. And now Uncle Al is proud to announce the addition of a GMC truck lineup. Jimmy's, custom conversion vans featuring Traytech and StarCraft, and the classy new 88 GMC Sierra pickup.
Hi, this is Uncle Al inviting you out to my new location on M59, just east of the Pontiac Oakland Airport. Don't forget, where the runway ends, the deals begin.
You do know that Ty Cobb was the greatest baseball player that ever lived.
You should know. You saw him play. But for my money, you can't beat Willie Mays. He was the greatest all-around player of all time.
Yeah, but Cobb at 361, highest in baseball history. He also set a stolen base record, toughest player in the game.
At least we can agree on one thing. Dino's Pizza is #1.
Because of the extra, 2 great pizzas, 1 low price.
No, because they have free delivery, and I don't have to be seen with you in public at a restaurant.
They have 24 locations in Metro Detroit.
And they've been in business 30 years, longer than any pizza chain in town.
Dino's Pizza, tops in Detroit.
We're back on Sports View with Channel 2 Sports Director, Fred McLeod. Fred, Bob Page said earlier it's a mediocre market and a very weak market in Detroit as far as sportscasting, and I basically go along with that.
How many other markets have you seen, though?
I've seen some other markets. You saying it's bad all over? You say?
No, I'm saying that you know, I do a lot of traveling with the ball clubs and you know, obviously tune in, and we are as aggressive here as any market you'll see. Go to New York, and all they do are highlights. There's no reporting, no journalism effort at all. San Francisco market that I worked in was soft.
Why did you think Eli Zarrett failed going to New York? All that money, the highest paid supposedly sportscaster in the nation?
Oh, he was not. But anyway, go ahead.
You know,
just the style.
Local sportscaster.
It's very difficult to crack any new market, but particularly.
But they have like legends in New York, don't they? The Warner Wolf, the guy that have been there forever.
See, what happens is, in our business, and Bobby can attest to this, once a trend is set locally, then everyone else follows, if it's successful. And I think what has happened is Warner has set the trend for highlights, and more highlights. And so he has become, you know, a personality above and beyond his show. And so he's virtually unreachable right
We see a lot of that now, too. Your comments, if you will, on Bernie Smilovich, your competitor over at Channel 4, who runs a whole hell of a lot of highlights. Bernie's bloopers and things like that.
See, when I first got here, I ran tons of highlights because in the early 80s, highlights were still kind of difficult to get, and it took a lot of work to get highlights. Now, because of so many feeds,
satellite technology, and
highlights are very, very easy to get.
You've toned that down, then?
Well, not so much toned it down, but tried to find other things.
Does Bernie overdo it?
No, I don't say he overdoes it. I'd rather see too many highlights than not enough.
What about as far as you being Stu Kleitanek is going? He's different. And there's a lot of sportscasts. Seems like you're successful if you're different. You get a kid from Detroit that went to Cincinnati, made a big name for himself, and nobody would touch him with a 10-foot pole here. A guy by the name of Zip Zipper, or Zipper Zeppo. Zip Zipper, they call him. And now he is in St. Louis and causes all sorts of furor at the station Stu's going to. He leaves. He's basically the same style. Now Stu's coming to replace him. If you're successful, go after somebody. So now Stu's got to click in New York in St. Louis to go over there.
But Zip bombed in Boston. Absolutely was a joke in Boston.
Yeah, he's the hottest thing St. Louis has got right now.
Right, but in Boston they take their sports.
It's a whole different situation there.
I get the feeling you're not worried then about the future course of local TV sportscasting. You don't think it's becoming too highlight oriented or too crazy oriented?
No, I think that, you know, is like my philosophy is to be aggressive, go after stories, and still, you know, have fun with it. But
now, Ronnie mentioned Eli Zarrett, who's trying desperately to come back to the digital TV market. Channel 7's been quoted as saying that as long as, what's his name, the news director's there, Rosenbaum, Zarrett will never work at Channel 7.
I'm told that no station will touch him with a 10-foot pole.
Now, wait a minute. 4 says they don't want him. The only thing we've heard is that 2 says, with the new ownership, your new ownership, they want to talk to him. What's your understanding?
Well, they've talked to him, but they would talk to anybody. You know, that's Gillette's philosophy. They will talk to anybody and everybody because they're new to a market.
You couldn't get along with Eli, could you, in the same situation?
Why not?
You and Stu had trouble getting along when you worked there. I mean, you're a very strong person. You're a very strong personality, and Eli is too.
That's another matter. But I mean, you know, there's no reason why we couldn't have. I think part of Stu's situation was that he was, you know, relegated to doing weekends, and I don't think he was very happy about that.
When you mentioned like local sport, what do you see the future of sportscasting? You know, you don't get a whole lot of time in doing the sports right now. Do you see that changing in the long run? Do you see them going from that 11 till midnight at night?
No.
You don't?
No, because especially with cable. I mean, you've got ESPN, and there's so many elements now to
A lot of people don't have cable still.
No, but there's still so many ways you can get sports aside from the local newscast.
So you think that just that Sunday night thing like 2 and 4 or 4 and 7 is done, which you haven't done at 2 yet.
Right.
That half-hour block.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the max. I really do.
Fred, we got to plug a new show of yours. In fact, well, we can take a minute and do that now. I guess you and Chuck Daly are doing a talk show on Channel 2.
Right.
Tell us about
Called Chuck Daly's 1 and 1. We've aired one show on Christmas Day, and it will commence end of January every week prior to the CBS.
What's it going to be like about and all that?
A little bit on the order of Don Cherry's Grapevine. A little bit more talk. Stay away from X's and O's. Get into personalities. We'll have Jacques Demers on the show. Sparky. We'll have different people from the.
I somehow can't see Chuck's.
No, nor can I.
Don Cherry.
No, nor can I.
Here's what's wrong with the NBA today. That dog playing out there in Golden State. Ralph Sampson. I can't see.
I don't see that happening either.
No, I don't either.
But so anyway, it's going to air on Channel 2.
Channel 2, right. Prior to the CBS telecast of the NBA.
Great.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll close it out with Fred McLeod of Channel 2 and past fame right after this final time. Arthur, this car is incredible.
Yeah, Bob, rock and roll's been very good to me.
Heck, most people couldn't even afford the telephone, I bet.
Sure they can. A beautiful new Panasonic cellular telephone from Communications Association of Michigan. I can take it anywhere I want, in my car, my boat. I need to stay in touch.
But I stay in touch, too, with this TCOM pager.
Hi, I'm Fred Wetzel. If you're a high roller like Arthur P. or a little more budget-minded, we can help you stay in touch.
From the Panasonic cellular phone
to the classic TCOM pager, wide state coverage for as little as 50 cents a day.
These are the facts about affordable legal services available from attorney Alan Moser. Low-cost legal fees begin at $25 for wills, $100 for divorce, $150 for child support, $175 for bankruptcy, $150 for drunk driving, and $150 for license restoration.
Hello, I'm attorney Alan Moser. Legal help is just a phone call away. Call me at 569-6602.
Nothing yet. But baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. Here's something you never forget, baby. You know, you just ain't seen nothing yet. You gotta go to school.
If cared for properly, your teeth can last your lifetime. Hello, I'm Dr. Mitchell Klein, here to tell you that in adults, gum disease is the major cause of tooth loss. There are warning signs. Do your gums bleed? Are they red or swollen? Are your teeth loose? Do you have bad breath? If you have any of these symptoms, call me today at 851-2980. That's 851-2980. There's no charge for consultation. Tooth loss can be prevented, so call today.
We're back on Sports View with Fred McLeod closing it out. Fred, you're doing your shows now, the Lions, the Pistons, Sports Director, Channel 2. What about the future?
I really enjoy
You like this market?
I love it here. It's such a great sports town. I mean, I love living in San Francisco, but they don't take their sports seriously. I could drop anchor right here because it's what it's all about.
Do you see that happening? Do you see anything happening in the network for you down the road?
I've got a lot of friends at that level, and
you never know.
And would submit, a tape from time to time. But as they will say, make sure you are ready when you submit a tape, because it's not like you get.
Because once you go and fail, you're not going to get another chance.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Fred, I want to thank you for coming on, and we hope your new show doesn't fail again. The name of the program.
Again, you say fail again. Where did he fail before?
The name of the show?
Chuck Daly's 1 and 1.
Before the NBA games on CBS. I want to thank you for putting up with Ron. We appreciate that. I want to thank our sponsors.
Get to the sponsors.
I'm trying to remember them all. The Amantea Restaurant. We had Larry
Amantea Restaurant, West Warren, and Benoit, Garden City.
Dugan's Irish Pub. We had Sports Fans Journal, Pass, Dino's Pizza, Fred Wetzel and the folks at TCOM Pagers, Maxie's Main Street. We even have our main sponsor, Al Dietrich Olsen. We'll send you a nice T-shirt. I don't know how nice it is.
We ran out of the Bob Page jockstrap.
You can hear Ron Cameron on the radio if you really want to.
Sorry about that.
WCAR 1 day a week is what he's been relinquished. He's relinquished 2 other days, what he's been limited to now. And my show every morning on WRIF with Pat and Wags, the home of rock and roll. We'll see you next time.
You quit rocking. You're rolling now, babe. That's all you.